Hello, how are we? I'm Opus Knight. I am the author of Salacious Manifesto, and I wanted to try to have a setup where authors and creatives could come together and learn about different techniques and different things for creative writing and in a kind of relaxed atmosphere. So, Austin, you want to start us off? We have a few more people that are going to be joining us late. They've already texted me. You got to unmute.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hi. I'm pretty good. I've never been part of a Zoom meeting like this before for authors, so I don't really know what to expect.
Well, I'm not very conventional.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
I write dark literature, so
okay.
Kind of goes along with the persona.
So, should I just call you Opus?
Yes.
Okay. And what about your friend?
This is my daughter, Ellen.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, yeah, what would you like to know?
Okay. Well, when did you start?
I started writing when I was
I
started writing when I was 18, and I'm 22 right now. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good enough. Okay. Well, we were going to get to some questions that I had for everyone. I figured we would play kind of like a game, but I don't know exactly how long they're going to be. So it may just be you and I for the duration. Are you?
It is New Year's. It is New Year's.
I'm aware.
So,
I'm aware. Yeah. I'm going to make you large screen actually, so I can see a little bit here. Okay, there we go. So, in writing, what exactly are your favorite or most, I guess, difficult tasks to come up with, like dialogue or plot twist or?
I'm not quite sure. I think, hello, Leon.
I know, he's coming on.
Hello,
Hey,
Leon.
how are we?
Hi there.
Did we wake you? Unmute.
All right. Hi, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right.
Hi, Leon.
Hi, how are you?
My name's Austin. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Austin. I know Ellen.
Hi.
Ellen.
Well, Austin.
So yeah, to answer your question, that would be very difficult to pinpoint. I think dialogue is quite fun and actually quite easy, but the hardest part for me is writing new contents. Like if I'm at the point of my novel that I've edited everything from start to finish and I'm supposed to write like a new page, it might be the case that I do like 1 or 2 sentences each day. So really.
So you're not 1,000 words a day?
No, I'm a slow creeping advance, but then I always go back and I like, if I work on my book for like an hour or 2 a day, then it's almost always editing and just making whatever I've made, like refine it.
You see, I have to be probably I guess, like I said, most unconventional writer, because when I start, like the novel that I wrote or even poetry, I go from the end to the beginning.
Oh.
I see where I know it's going to end. I have no problem with that. And then I work backwards from it.
Okay.
So.
I haven't tried that yet, but
pretty interesting.
That has actually Dan Brown also does it like that. I watched his masterclass and he said that if you need to make a compelling ending, you start with the ending and you work your way towards it. But
it gives me a broader perspective or broader spectrum of where I can go with the characters.
Okay.
You know, and I love that. So that's pretty cool.
Interesting. What about you, Leon?
How you doing, Leon?
Good. How are you?
So Leon actually plays in a band.
Okay.
Now tell us a little bit about yourself, Leon.
So name is Leon. I'm originally from Iran. Came to the U.S. in 2011. I studied professional writing in college and with minor in philosophy, and have two masters in reading education and rhetoric. And so most of my writing and my writing adventures are unfortunately in non-creative writing. I wrote for private sector and for college, academic essays and curriculum stuff like that. But I'm not completely unfamiliar with the world of creative writing. I wrote a novel which probably is going to be the biggest achievement of my entire life, from the year 2003 to 2006, called King of the Underworld. I wrote it in two languages, Farsi and English. Um, Long story why it never got published, but um, it was
No,
a
that's
very,
incredible.
yeah, it was a very large volume that I made it actually a concept music album. Now it's out as it is called Inhabitants of Purgatory. Um, I write lyrics like minimalistic things these days, just because of the time. I work for a bunch of colleges and universities and work full time for a band. So I have to kind of shrink all my thoughts and stuff that I really, really want to develop, and try to find concise sentences and phrases that can convey a lot and use them in music to kind of quench my desire to write and create.
When did you start writing music?
Writing music, I think around 2008, I started to mess with musical instruments, but it was not until 2012 that I got really serious at it.
Now, is it true if you know three chords, those three chords specifically on a guitar, that you will use those all the time throughout every different song you play, no matter what song you play?
Um, to some extent, yeah, for like the different, like for pop music, which rock, the play music that I play, like it basically is part of the pop category. There, yeah, it is possible because all those chords, all those three, each of those three chords have different variations.
Mhm.
So you can like change them up in many, many ways. Add, you know, tones and borrow tones from other scales to those chords. You can create a lot with those three. Like the band AC/DC, one of the biggest rock bands in the history, have only used no more than four chords in their entire existence. So it's
Yeah, I
possible,
hear.
but yeah, for that world, if you want to go to classical music, jazz, and stuff like that, it won't be possible. You need
I just always wondered about that. I think that's fascinating.
Actually, can I ask you a question, Leon?
yeah, go ahead.
So you said you wrote a novel in two different languages.
Yes.
The sentence to sentence differences, like, did you find it difficult to translate some sentences and keep it, like, how did you work with that?
Yeah, that was the most actually time consuming part of it, because um, um, there are many concepts in where I grew up in the Middle East that do not have equivalent in, but culturally and linguistically they don't have any
Because you started writing
equivalent.
it first in Farsi. That's the language, right?
Kind of simultaneously. I was
Okay.
more excited about learning a new language, so I tried, like, kind of it happened simultaneously, but like uh um I forgot your name. I'm sorry. Ellen's
Austin,
mom. No, no, yeah, I know your name. Ellen's mom.
Oh,
Opus,
Opus.
Opus. Okay, great.
Opus.
Opus. So like
I'm
you were,
listening.
yeah, Opus, like you were saying, like I started to see the future, like the ending of the book in Farsi, because I think in Farsi. But I wanted to, like, I wanted to get past through a barrier and get passed through that thinking in Farsi by trying to translate that in the English. So it happened simultaneously, but yeah, there were many obstacles in getting to that goal of having them be close to one another, because Farsi is a very poetic language. It's like you want, like it's to a point of annoying. Like if you want to say something in English, that's why I love English
Ah,
more. It's more to the point. When you want to say
ah,
something in English, you just say it. In
interesting.
Farsi, you go around, tell stories, and then you expect the person to get the point.
All right, guys.
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
lasted long enough with this thing.
It looked great on you,
To
though.
see me. Okay. Well, I had a few people that, like I had told Austin, just to let you know, Leon,
Mhm.
that are going to be joining us hopefully later.
Okay.
If not, it's just going to be us four. Pardon me, honey.
Mhm.
So do you guys want me to start asking some of the random questions that I had come up with?
Sure.
Can I make it a little bit
Sounds
fun?
like fun.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. What puts you in the mood to write?
What puts me in the mood to write?
I mean, is it
Um,
that you just wake up and you run to the computer or typewriter and you,
it's really one of those things that I feel like I got to do daily, and it doesn't matter when I do it. I just feel like I think about it all day, and when I finally get to do it, it's like a relief.
so you're not a night writer?
I'm not someone that does it in a certain time of day. No, depending on what my schedule will allow. Like if I'm working a lot, I might do it at night, but if I'm not, then I do it in the morning.
Gotcha.
I have a process. I need to be sitting on a certain chair, and I have to have coffee. It is a process. I don't know how to explain it, but I write something like when an idea comes or inspiration, something must like inspire me from something, whether I'm watching or reading something that propels me to write. So I write something about it. I make notes and then go back to it when I have the time. So like my different closets are filled with different ideas written in small papers, waiting to
So
develop.
do you do like poetry? This question's for both of you. Do you find that since you're both basically novelists, do you find that you also find yourself writing short stories and poetry and like a whole range of different things? Like
Yeah,
I happen to write songs and I will write poetry, I write short stories, and I am actually that one who's up all night long, who my neighbors, I probably creep out, they hear me all night long when I'm writing. And I'll elicit anybody's help where I'm like, hey, write this down right now, write it down, write it down. But do you guys find that it
Sure,
happens?
Leon does, because Farsi is a very poetic language, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
poetry
But
comes poetry
I
comes
think
easy.
as both of us, you'll probably agree. I think when you're writing a novel, like there's tons of tiny poems in there. That's just kind of what keeps the flow from sentence to sentence interesting.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm
reading
very
books, I
I'm
was
very
going to say, and reading books, do you find that it's the same way for both of you? Like, if you're reading a book, you can spot that novelist immediately. You don't even have to look at the name of it.
I
You
don't.
read their writing and you know precisely who it is, that the voice that it's just them.
I don't. I don't
True.
know about you,
it
Leon.
it it, me- it messed me up when I was reading a work of Tolkien, and it's almost I was 100% sure if I didn't have the book, I just had a little article, and I started reading from it was a part of the article about this work of Tolkien, and I was fooled, and I thought this is definitely C.S. Lewis, and I was 100% sure. I made a bet, and I was wrong. So after that, I don't trust myself in that category. But going back to your previous question about writing poetry and stuff, poetry comes easy to me. That's why because I also like went to school and learned all the metrics and how to make rhythms and I really really am very good at sentence structure and all that stuff. But what is hard for me to create an atmosphere using prose style, like creating that poetic effect and that thrust of the awe that I want to create. With poetry, it's easy, but can I do it with prose? Can I write something a lot, especially long sentences? I enjoy creating left branching long sentences that keeps the reader's interest still until the end, even though we're all told that you should write shorter so more people will be interested in
I think that depends on the writer too.
yeah,
Because there
exactly.
are some writers that they could not get a short sentence. You couldn't get a short
Yeah.
sentence out of them if
Yeah.
you tried.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
one of those people.
Exactly.
I'm long-winded, so it's like, and a lot of my writing will be very poetic, and I will write quotes within the writing and not even realize I'm doing it.
Mhm.
Do either one of you find you do things like that, where it's the unconscious part of writing that's like, where did that come from? Or actually,
Yeah.
have either one of you ever written something that either scared you or shook you to the core or brought you to tears?
No, I get really excited, but I don't. That's actually a question I've seen come up before, and I haven't had that. But I tend to get more excited about like action scenes and stuff like that. But nothing
I
makes me cry.
found those moments more where I was startled by reading something than I basically creating it. I did though. I think in that novel that I mentioned, I created a scenery. I tried to get past the extreme. I was like, okay, so let me read. I did a lot of research, a lot of reading in literature, trying to find a point of extreme in a concept. And I chose revenge. And I was like, what is the most like the most extreme example of someone creating in like literature like a revenge, perishing in hell, whatever that is, like. And I try to get past that. I try to write something that get past that point of extreme by deconstructing my mind of what I know and try to find something new. And I think that was the moment for me. And January of 2006, I remember I had to put down the writing and I was like, this is scary. This even scares me.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you ever felt so passionate about something that you couldn't write it?
Austin?
Um, no.
Well,
I
I have.
I focus mainly on one work that I have, and I don't have a lot of little work, but that one thing that I'm doing is not something like I'm super passionate about it. But if I feel something needs to get put down, I don't have any problem with that. It gets put down. I don't know. Maybe if you're a songwriter like the Leon, it's a very different story.
It is a little bit, yeah. It's um the nature of the work in a band that like the excitement of sharing that content with others that like propels you to write it and gives you additional motivation and also putting it into instrument and stuff. I think it's make it a little bit easier and harder to actually avoid.
Hmm.
How about dialogue?
Yeah. What do you think about dialogue?
In what sense?
Find it difficult to create compelling dialogue and sort of make it natural and seem also easy to read and digest, but very believable.
Yeah, I find that a little bit more difficult because it also comes from the interest. Like when I'm watching an anime or I'm like reading some work of literature, I'm always curious and interested about the voice of the speaker. And I did like
Okay.
a lot of studies on the speaker. I started to question. I went back to a lot of books that I read, and I started to ignore the dialogues. And I was like, wait, who's telling me this though? Who's the narrator? So can I trust the narrator? The narrator is telling me that this person said this to the other person. It's still not the real thing. It's still a dialogue that I'm being reported
Mhm.
on. So, and I think a lot of authors tried to get our attention to pay attention to the speaker, to the narrator, like the Great Gatsby. Um, the narrator is telling all this story about Gatsby, all of us, but we're all fooled because of the great use of rhetoric to watch the dialogues that don't tell the truth, basically.
You see, with me and with myself, dialogue is one of my favorite things to do.
Same.
I have forever been able to create dialogue. It's in fact, when I'm out at places or whatnot and something comes to me, people are used to seeing me move my hands a lot and just literally start speaking. And I'm waiting for the day that somebody comes up to me and actually says something.
Do you
But
have
I have
any,
that too. Yeah.
do you have any input of how to write good dialogues? If I wanted to become better at writing it, I'm already aware of the fact that I'm not good at it because my focus is on the speaker. But if I work on that part, what are some of the good resources? What can I do?
probably the easiest way, I mean, I could refer you to different books and different techniques and things like that. But essentially with myself, it comes easy because I'm a listener and I will listen to conversations.
Yeah.
I'm that person who can sit in the middle of a restaurant alone and never have a problem with it. I'm more focused on everything going on around me.
Or inserting yourself into a lot of conversations. That's
Yeah,
also really
I
important.
will internalize every element of the room. I'm the details, you know, of the curtains, the sound of, you know, the cook in the back or the dishes shuffling or
Mhm.
just everything. You know, it's dialogue. I think a lot of times you can tell people are speaking, and that's not what, like with myself, that's not how I do it myself. I don't want the person to know that I'm speaking. I want them to be so involved in that story that and so captivated that, you know, it doesn't matter who's telling it. I just want them to be able to know that this is the way it's going to play out and then surprise them, you know, and that lure of being able to hold someone, that hook and their attention for longer than 5 minutes, you know, that's an amazing thing to me.
But Leon, do you consider yourself a social person or an extroverted person? Because
Yeah,
I think,
Good question.
yeah, that helps a lot with
I'm
dialogue, I think.
extrovert. Um, it's also like I think I'm good at like hiding my um a lot of like emotions and like keep them for myself and everything. But it is hard for me to ignore others. Like I definitely I think I'm an extrovert. Hated that for a long time until I accepted it. Because I do believe like introverts can like I don't know if it's a myth or not. Maybe that's the question for discussion. That introverts create better content.
I
I,
That
don't know. Yeah,
I've
I
heard
consider
it
myself
before.
pretty social.
yeah, but that made me
I don't like my
actually
content.
hate, that made me hate being an extrovert. But not, after I accepted it, I was like, you know what? That's who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, do you think that your dialogue needs to be improved?
yeah,
Or,
definitely.
yeah, can I read some of it? Just out of
Um,
curiosity.
yeah. I
It's
Yeah.
mean,
us. Go
Not
ahead.
the far, not the, only the English one, please.
no,
But,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. If
I'll probably get your contact info after this from Opus. and then we'll just
Oh
check it
yeah,
out.
yeah. I
Cool.
can. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. That way, everybody can have it. There you go.
I don't even know. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. I will send
On the
you
screen for you.
an email.
Nice. And Opus, thank you for the feedback. But yeah, if you came up with anything, any resource that I could use,
Definitely.
it would be
I
awesome.
can, I can
As
definitely send
often,
you
I
some.
try to find something to send you so you can see.
Well,
Some-
I'm a huge fan of what was the name of the book? I'm trying to think. It's an entrance into dialogue, and I had read little bits and pieces of it, and I kind of fell a little bit into some of it, some of the different components that they were talking about, but the majority of dialogue that I've read from, like, say, Poe to Oscar Wilde to like even you were speaking of talking, dialogue is just one of those amazing things that you kind of got to sit by yourself and listen to multiple people speaking, and you kind of can picture in your mind this is one of the best exercises that I have ever heard of, is you close your mind, you close your eyes and open your mind to the elements around you, the simple things like hearing the birds or hearing the wind and some car going past. And then you take from that and you try to picture in your mind's eye, what sound is that, and identify it. Well, dialogue is a lot in the way that is, because when you sit in a room, especially a busy room, but you can hear multiple people around you, that you picture how are they feeling, what emotion are they displaying, and you can almost picture their face like an actor playing out different things. And it helps a lot with dialogue, because you're hearing the way they're expressing themselves, and dialogue has a lot of expression. If anything, that's probably the most expressive thing that you will write, because scenery is easy, atmosphere to me is easy, but dialogue is fun. It really is, especially when you're sitting back and you're thinking, wait a minute, my character wouldn't do that, or they would do this, and you kind of you stretch the imagination, and I really think it makes you, a better writer. So let's go on to something else. Let's see. Is it important to either one of you that the people around you, like, do they share your passion when you write something? Do they have like your little yay coaching?
I'm the only person in my environment that does it, but everybody's very supportive of it nevertheless,
So they've read it?
Many people have, but most of them are not readers. That's the thing. I always say, hey, I wrote a novel. They're like, cool. I don't read, but okay. But yeah, they all told me they'll give it a shot, but mine is like 400 pages. So it's really intimidating to someone that doesn't read.
Nice.
Yeah. So like, I don't blame them if they don't.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a circle that I communicate with, like my closer circle, and they all have to have passion for the things I'm passionate for. I don't write off other people. I don't look down upon or try, but I will hang out less with people that have different passions, just because yeah, it's part of, like, I think an ego thing maybe. I need to be heard, and I need to hear a feedback.
That
Interesting.
instant
Okay.
gratification. Okay. And Let me see. Is there any piece of work that you've ever had to walk away from because you were worried about what the general public would say, or, oh, this is too much for them kind of thing?
I've rewritten some stuff for sure. Yeah. But nothing too drastic. I just think, there's probably a more delicate way I can approach this. And it's usually the exact same thing, but then written differently.
Gotcha. Leon?
It will be my autobiography. I can never write that. Yeah, I have the most wrong genes and family tree and everything. So, and it's not a big deal to me. Like I can't even like talk about it easily, but it won't be something I would publish because my grandfather and their generations were Nazis, and
Oh, wow.
so yeah, I even went on the very hard process of changing my last name so it doesn't represent any of that, get me in unnecessary trouble.
I think that would be a pretty interesting book to read, though.
That's what I said.
Yeah, it's
Really
like,
would be.
the controversial stuff, that's usually what grabs people attention.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the whole life that I led myself after I escaped my country, I escaped Iran in the fear of political and religious issues that I had. I was imprisoned for converting to a different religion that wasn't accepted in the country. I got my share of adventures in the world. So I just don't want anything to get away. Like, if I ever wanted to talk about adventures about anything in a book, my problem would be running out of space and time to talk about myself. I just don't want that to get in the way of blocking the audience, just because there's not really anything interested in that past. All I remember from my childhood memories with that family is that it was pure as it is. Kill all the Jews, just like that. Nothing that could be altered to find any common ground about any type of human interaction. It's just pure garbage.
Well, you said, I'm sorry. If you don't want to talk about this, like, tell me, but you said your grandparents were Nazis, correct?
Yeah,
But you had a good relationship with them, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. Not at all. Okay.
No, so
that would be really interesting to see the dynamic between, like,
my father was from Turkey, and then his entire family were refugees from the German-Turkish War, the Osmanis War, that came to take refuge in Iran, and so they were all practicing whatever their tradition was, like, freely, because, like, Iran of the time and even today, as long as you're not trying to overthrow this Islamic regime, it doesn't matter where you stand with your beliefs and with your portraying your beliefs and everything. So, it's just being able to understand everything as a child and not being able to stop anything. That's just something I don't like to mention.
Yeah,
it will open a portal. Yeah, it will open a portal to something I'm not interested in talking about at all.
Okay. Well, if you ever change your mind, you should probably put that down. Put that down on a piece of paper.
Because everyone comes from somewhere, and their stories matter. So, maybe it's amazing to me because, my children are Italian. I work for, I've been around and worked with Turkish people my entire life. And I mean, I have a lot of diversity around us all the time, and so do my children. And it's never, you don't think twice. It's just everybody's everybody, and you enjoy whatever, kind of flavor they add to your life. It's a beautiful thing. So we can go on to something else. Let me see. What's your ultimate goals, guys?
In
What do you
writing?
do for the future?
In writing or just in general?
In writing in general, but with your life.
What was
With
the
my
question?
life?
Sorry.
Like say 20 years from now, give us a picture of where you want to be and the kind of things you wanted to accomplish that you hope to accomplish. And then
I want to have, well,
sitting back laughing and
hopefully before then, I'd like to have my novel reach pretty far, reach a lot of people. But besides that, what I would like with my life is just to have financial stability and a cute wife, a couple kids,
so you're
maybe
not
a farm or something. Pardon?
Are you married?
No,
Okay,
not yet. I'm only 22 right now.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. That's quite a ways away, but we'll see what happens. That's literally double my lifetime, 20 years from now. So I'm not even
So
thinking
your
about that.
perspective is a little different than
Yeah,
yeah,
a
gotcha.
bit.
Okay. Leon, did you want to
Well,
answer that as well?
yeah, I'm 36. I was married 5 years and then had to get a divorce. My ex-wife's still one of my best friends though. It just didn't work out. But in 20 years, I'm hoping to still be single. Um,
Okay. All right.
just yeah,
Bachelor for life.
gives, gives,
Okay.
it just gives me ease of mind to
Mm.
do the things that I want to do. And I would like, yeah, financial stability is a big thing because that gives me an opportunity to hopefully write more and to do more with my music, and also definitely I see that as a possibility that to rewrite my novel. Like I said, it never got published, and unfortunately, I don't have a single um, page of that novel because I wrote the whole thing. It was about 1,000 pages long, and I wrote it handwritten, edited. It was ready to go, and I gave it to the girlfriend of the time to type it for me. And then I got arrested by the government, and all my possessions got blocked, and I never saw that novel. I offered $20,000 to that girl later on, who lives in Armenia, to if she has it, just give it to me. But she blocked me completely from her life, just because I understand that she was afraid that the government will go after
Right.
her too, and all that. So rewriting that is a big dream that I don't know if it is even possible, because I went through hell and back to write that. I decided to enter many coded passages in that book. So I was reading a lot of Greek mythology, a lot of biblical content, and I tried to code them. So only by reading and rereading the book and going back and forth between the different timelines and worlds that I created in that novel, you could be able to unlock the meaning of something. And just like, you know, a little bit more sophisticated versions of like Narnia or things like that, or the Hobbits and stuff like that. So I try to stay original, but it is not completely possible, as we all know. But yeah, I don't think I can ever recreate that, but something similar to it would be awesome. It might take me 10 years now because
Mhm.
I'm older and not as smart as I used to be. Um, but because I was hungry when I was writing it, I was like spending 10 hours, 12 hours a day, nonstop, 3 years in a row, 10 hours of reading, 1 hour of writing, 1 hour of thinking about what I wrote. I will never ever have that motivation again, but at least a sloppy
But it's
version
up
of it.
here.
Yeah,
It is
yeah, it's
always,
here. Sloppy version of it would be awesome.
always there.
Yeah.
You were speaking of mythology. Do I, both of you, what do you think of mythology? Do you ever take certain things from mythology and write about that?
No, I have some. Most of mine work is not with like magic or mythology, but I definitely have some like sort of little hints to biblical references here and there, but that's mainly because I just think it's very interesting, but I don't grab a character and place it into the world, so to speak.
Do you want to plug your book, being since this will be on YouTube?
Pardon?
I said, would you like to plug your book?
Sure.
I know you have a new novel out.
Titan of the Shifting Sands by A.J.J. Murrah, and you can find it on BookBaby and Amazon.
Awesome.
Would you mind typing it in the chat?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm a read and write person. I'm terrible at auditory learning styles and visual and kinesthetic. I'm terrible at that. I'm reading a manual. That's how I learn everything.
Yeah, I'm more visual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna give you
There you
guys.
go.
There you go.
Thanks.
Will the chat be visible on YouTube?
I think I can make it that way.
I don't know. This is like the second time I've ever used Zoom. So.
This is actually my first.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
congratulations.
Are we doing okay, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Is there a certain word that drives you crazy that you kind of use repetitively in writing?
Sorry, I was having a quick conversation with
That's
my roommate.
What was the question again?
Is there a certain word or certain words that you find you use over and over and over again, not meaning to?
Yeah, for me, some examples are tradition. Tradition is the word that haunts me everywhere. It always comes because it has different implications and applications too. I just don't see it as something to be avoided. And I'm very connected to the past. I enjoy spending time in the past, not reminiscing, but in others people's past, in others adventures past. And I think it has a very important role in what's happening in the future, the connection between past and future. So tradition like shows up a lot in my writings.
Okay.
How about you?
I don't, if I have that, I have it more from like a segment of text where a single word comes maybe 2 or 3 times. And I just don't think that looks very appealing, or nor does it like a word that repeats often. It's all right if it repeats throughout the story many times, but if it's like 3 times in a row, I don't want to deal with that, and I edit it out. But I don't have words that haunt me, so to speak, like tradition. Yeah.
I do when it comes to the word Philadelphia.
Well, let's hear the story about Philadelphia. What's that about?
Girl. Actually, there's not only that, there are a few words in the English language that I would like to just rip out of the English language. Trust me. Philadelphia. I can say now, growing up, it was the PHs, it would be Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Or when I say, and it's funny because my granddaughter's the same way. She has certain words that she'll say that I know that they're going to come through the next 20, 30, 40 years, not intentionally, but they just do. Another word is porthole. I can't say porthole. Porthole is
Porthole.
one of the, yes, that's one of those words that I want to, hate that word.
How about spelling stuff like vacuum or?
No, I don't have any problems with that kind of stuff. it's when I go to write, like,
And she likes to put 1,000 commas on everything.
and I'm a comma queen.
Ah,
So
yeah.
anyone has a problem with commas, oh well, oh well. Just letting you know. I am putting emphasis and pauses everywhere that I enjoy them. But that's what editors are for.
Sparkle.
I'll put glitter on there, I'll spray, yeah, I'll make it smell pretty, that's perfect. Okay, how much longer do we have? Okay, I don't want to keep you guys, you know.
Yeah,
How
it will
long-
be
how-
it will be about an hour to New Year's if we go until yeah, I'm an hour ahead of you, I believe. So 15
Yeah.
minutes from now, I'll have an hour left to party, so to speak.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in Curacao right now, but I live in Amsterdam. Yeah, Curacao is the Caribbean. I don't know if you knew that, but
Yeah.
you probably did, but I'm just putting it on the map somewhere for you. You know.
Good. Yeah. I'm in Baltimore.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
And you guys are in Philadelphia?
I'm in Newark, Delaware.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, well, Wilmington, Delaware, as they consider, because we're right on that little line. But
Diverse group of people, huh?
so did you guys want to charge on, or did you have some?
You know, if you don't mind, I'd actually like to call it an evening, but I'd be happy to come back next time.
You got it. Well, we're gonna be
Yeah.
doing this every Thursday, 9 o'clock. You know where?
Okay.
Guys, you've been delightful. And I thank you so much. And we got
Yeah.
it.
Thank you for having me here. It was
Of course. And
Yeah.
congratulations on your book. I can't wait to see. I know. Mine
Yeah.
comes out. I am plugging it. Salacious Manifesto. This book I have worked my butt off to. I mean, it every time I have wanted to publish it, something happens. Something happens. So this book deserves to see the light of day. Put it that way.
All right.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New
I'll
Year.
be talking to you guys next year.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Take
See you
care.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.